Excellent. So Wednesday, the 17th of May, and this is episode 2 of the Outspoken podcast. And I am super, super excited today because I have the one and only Michelle Green, who is looking stunning in blue today. And she's actually on brand. She's in branded colours. Well, it's my branded colours, but yeah, you look beautiful, Michelle. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So for anybody who doesn't already follow Michelle and doesn't know her, Michelle, can you just give us a little bit of an intro into who you are, kind of what your job is, and then I will also do a little bit of an intro on me and kind of what we're going to chat about today.
Of course. So I'm Michelle Green. I've got a business called Cosmetic Aesthetics Clinic and also Cosmetic Aesthetics Training Academy. I've been in the industry doing aesthetics for the past 10 years. Also, I've been teaching aesthetics for, I'd say, the past 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, I absolutely love what I do. It's amazing. I think you've got to love your job at the same time. And I just love helping people and making everyone beautiful.
Awesome. Fabulous. Any of you guys that are new to my podcast channel, I'm Lucy Anjuna. I am an online health and fitness coach. I have been in the fitness industry for almost 20 years, set up my online business about 7 years ago. And before that, I was in strategic marketing. So it was a bit of a flip change, but my real true passion is in helping you guys out there become the best versions of yourself, not just physically, but, you know, also in terms of your mindset, and basically just helping people to become better, healthier, stronger versions of themselves. So why are we here today? So Michelle and I already know Michelle. So Michelle is the lady that makes me look beautiful. So
beautiful. We just add little treatments, enhancements.
Tweakments. So, you know, and I'm really picky when it comes to, you know, letting people loose on my face, not just in terms of aesthetic treatments, but also in terms of makeup and anything. You know, I'm really picky. And I myself, you know, I'm very professional in what I do. And what I'm trying to do with this podcast is bring other professionals together so that we can discuss some of the hot topics of the moment. Now, the reason why I've invited Michelle onto this podcast today is because I feel like in both the online health and fitness coaching realm and the aesthetic, do I call it aesthetics? Do I call it cosmetic aesthetics?
Aesthetics, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I feel like we can both agree that it's we've got areas in both industries that are heavily unregulated, and it's a bit of a wild west.
Yeah.
And obviously we're not here today to slag anyone off. You know, we're nice girls, you know, we're professionals. But what we're trying to do is just raise awareness so that anybody listening who is either looking for an online coach to help with their body and their health and their physique, or somebody who's looking for tweakments or someone who can train as well in aesthetics, we're looking to give you guys value by helping you, you know, become more empowered so you can make smarter decisions as to who you choose to work with and who you let loose on your beautiful faces and bodies. So Michelle, why do you feel it's important that we talk about this? Why is it important for someone to choose wisely when it comes to your profession and your area?
Well, as you probably and everyone is aware of, aesthetics is a huge market now. And people are learning and training left, right and centre because it is an amazing career to get into. However, there are quite a lot of risks involved in doing the treatment. At the end of the day, you're working with people's faces, you're helping people achieve more confidence. So I think it's very important to know exactly what you're doing. And if a complication does arise, you need to know exactly how to deal with it. But also, people that are already in the aesthetics industry will relate to this. You sort of become a little bit of a counsellor to your clients because coming to you, they'll tell you all the worries. So you need to make sure you're confident in achieving what they're wanting realistically, and just making sure that you know exactly what you're doing, that you know and how to do it, and you know how to look after your client as a full journey, not just a little bit of a treatment, because it will keep coming back to you. they put all the trust in you. At the end of the day, you're using injections on the face. You got to make them feel relaxed. You've got to make them use professional products. It's all about the knowledge and understanding for every single person what they want. Not everyone wants the same thing, so just make sure you can adapt to different people's style of what they want, and just looking after them as a whole as well. It's such a journey. It's not just coming in and say getting your lips done. It's a full journey. For some people it's a huge thing, some people it's not. You just need to be able to adapt to all these different people, but keep so professional and just understand and put yourself in that client's shoes. They might be nervous, but you need to look after them in every single way.
Yeah, absolutely. So without, obviously, we're not trying to pull anybody down, but for you, your opinion, what are a few examples, or just a couple of examples, what would unprofessional look like? So, like we see horror stories, don't we, all the time? What are the things that people need to be aware of that would perhaps unprofessional practice?
Yeah, it's obviously it's out there. It's big at the minute, and people slamming people for this, slamming people that. I mean, as you know, we teach medics and non-medics. So I'm not saying any is better than the other. As long as they train to a really high standard, then they'll all come out with good, productive work. So professional, you need to make sure, are they insured? Are they qualified? What is their personal profile of work look like? How long have they been in the industry doing it? Like I said, I've been doing treatments, and I mean back to back, as you know, in a clinic that is just so busy for 10 years. But I decided, after I still wasn't ready to start teaching until 8 years down the line, because you've got to come up against your ups, your downs, you've got to deal with different things. It's all a learning process. You're constantly learning. So give that service to someone and teach them how to have an aesthetics career and how to be good. It took me 8 years to feel confident that now I can give these people my expertise, give them everything, my knowledge of everything I've learned over 8 years, so that I know they can be the best version of themselves and have an amazing career. So I just say, just check the practitioner or academy's profile. How long have they been doing it? What is their own personal work? What does it look like? What support are they going to give you? How easy are they to reach? After the treatment, can you constantly get in touch with them? Because what might seem to us as a little minor question is massive to some clients. You've just got to really, really look after your client in every single way. What does your academy or treatment rooms look like? How clean is it? There's so many things that you need to be aware of. Making sure that, one, you're trained in the correct place, and two, you're having it done by the correct practitioner, really. And look at their appearance. You don't want someone rocking up with tatty sliders on hanging out, because for health and safety purposes, you're supposed to have little things like you're supposed to wear clothes, which a lot don't. But for perspective, you're supposed to. Your hair should be tied up. Wearing PPE or not wearing PPE. What is the sanitization process like? Are they using regulated products? Do you see them regulated products being open in front of them? There's just so many things that people need to be vetted for, because at the end of the day, it is your face.
Exactly.
It's your face. It needs to be.
And it's little things like that, isn't it? Like you've just said there, people seeing you open the products in front of them. Another thing that I've kind of heard about is, salons turning people away, and rightly so, because they're requesting, certain things to be done on the same day that shouldn't be done on the same day. A lot of people that don't know about things like that.
When you're having anti-wrinkle injections, it is always going to be law that you need a prescription for this, and people are trying to bypass this and do it without prescriptions. But all I'm saying, I say this to my students all the time, it's always going to be a prescription on the medicine is anti-wrinkle, always. So my advice is always have a prescription for it. Don't do anything underhand. It's not worth your business. It's not worth your reputation. Always keep so professional in your industry and look after them, and be honest. Be really, really honest to your clients and to yourself. Never feed them a load of jargon. Tell them exactly how things are, and they will always respect you for it. Exactly. Like the clients that come in, I'll say, no, you don't need that doing, we're not doing that. But in reality, I could say, yeah, go on, give me that money for that package. But if they don't need it, they don't need it. I just want to be honest with them, less actually more, believe it or not. And they will trust you so much more and say, like my clients, I'd probably say 60% of my clients have come to me for 10 years and they keep coming back and back and back because I truly, truly do care about them. And
Yeah.
often I will say, you don't need that. We're not doing that today.
No,
You know,
no, and that's right. And like you say, people respect you. You know, I know that if I came to you and I asked for something, you know, crazy, you'd be like,
don't need it.
you don't need that. Like,
I
so
keep
I'd
that as long
rather that. I'd rather, you know, I value that. I'd rather someone be honest. And I guess,
as
you
because
know,
I have a salesperson dream. Someone can tell me, oh, take this tablet, Michelle, you'll lose weight. Take this, you'll look 10 years younger. Take this and make your hair grow. Go on, I'll have 10 of them. In fact, I'll buy a whole batch. And the whole stuff like that, I'm like, well, I've not turned into a size 6 overnight off that tablet. What has gone on? So I hate anyone who does that to me. So just be honest.
Yeah. Well, that I guess leads on to sort of what I would say to people to look for when it comes to choosing a professional online coach. And there's quite a few things that you said there that carry over. So, for example, the being honest about things. You know, I will always be honest with people about their expectations. You know, I get so many people coming to me and saying, all right, I want to look like this, you know, the cover of a fitness magazine with 6 weeks. And I'll say to them, you're not going to get that in 6 weeks. And they'll say, oh, well, I'll go to the other coach then because they told me that I can do a 6-week shred. And I'm like, that's absolutely fine. And do you know what? I'd rather turn down business because it's not the type of business I want, because ultimately that is going to impact on my reputation. And usually what happens is they'll go off to the other person that's promising the dramatic transformation within 6 weeks, and they'll come back to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I just think you've got to hold your professionalism, stand your ground, and stay true to your values.
Always.
But I think the other thing as well, it's like you touched on there, it's not always about, you know, like you said, you train medics and non-medics. It's not always about people having qualifications. And I guess like it will differ between our industries. But I think for me, there are quite a lot of people who, because anybody can set up as a coach, you can set up without qualifications. And I'm not saying that is the be all and end all, but I think it's just to be aware, you know, because, for example, with myself, I've been on the gym floor. I have been through my, you know, physiology qualifications. I've been through all my personal training qualifications. I understand how the human body works. I understand, you know, the mechanics and how, you know, it's different when you are kind of stood with someone on a PT floor to just being able to set up online. I do think that that's valuable because, like you said before, you've been in this industry years. You have to you learn people. You want to be that person that's dealt with different types of people because you understand people in terms of some people are nervous to work with and some people need more attention. Other people need coaching in a slightly different way. And I do think that that's really important. And I think there's a lot to be said for someone who's spent that time learning not just kind of the right way to do things, but also making mistakes and dropping the ball.
100%.
Got to make mistakes, haven't you, to learn and to become better.
Learning, isn't it?
You know, I think as well, what's important and what professional for me is, and I know that you have, you know, like waiver forms. I have 2 conditions. You know, sometimes people will kind of go, what? Why have you got terms and conditions? What, you've got a contract? And I'm like, why would you not? You know, you're going to be working with me as a professional. It's not just for kind of for me as a business, you know, to protect them, because they need to know what can they expect when they work with me. So I think there's that as well. I think you need to look at someone's time in the industry. So again, with time comes more experience. You know, there are a lot of coaches out there, they've set up after doing like a 2-week course, and fine, we all start somewhere, again, we do. But the longer someone's been in the industry, the more people they've got to work with, the more different lifestyles they've witnessed. You know, I mentioned to you before we got on the live, we've got, for example, you know, maybe people in their early 20s, men, working with premenopausal women, you know, and saying to them that they understand what they're going through. And it's like, well, how can you possibly understand? You haven't been through the same life experiences, you know. So when a mother, for example, is working with me, she's had a baby, she wants to get in shape again, you know, I have walked that walk. I am that mother. I have done it myself. And I just think it's nice to be able to actually, you know, resonate with your coach, because you've actually genuinely got something there in common as well. Another thing as well that I think sets professionals apart from perhaps unprofessional practice is, you know, look at a business. Are they investing in their business?
Oh yeah.
You know, like I know that you heavily invest in your business. I
Yeah.
personally, I have spent thousands, you know, I work with a business mentor, I work with a professional network of coaches, not only so that I've got other people to kind of, you know, bounce ideas off, but also it keeps me at the top of my game. It keeps
Oh,
my standards high. You know,
knowledge is key.
accountable.
Knowledge is key.
Always,
Oh,
always.
you never stop learning. I still
Never,
do
ever.
now. I love it. I love it. I'm so
Yeah.
sad. Literally, my work.
Such a
like,
geek.
But I literally love it so much. And come a day that it's not my hobby and I'm not that passionate, I won't do it anymore. But I literally love it so much. All I want is for someone who I train to love it like I do and just see how amazing industry it is. As soon as you know how to deal with everything, it should be the best thing that you've ever done. You shouldn't have to worry. As long as you're trained right and you know how to deal with every single complication and you know you've got support 24/7. Like, I answer phone calls, and my students, if any are listening, will understand this. I have phone calls at Saturday night, midnight,
Yeah.
Sunday. And you know what? I'm always there for them because I've been in their shoes. I just want to help. I just want to help them and make them amazing and love it like I do. And I want a massive network of people that are loving aesthetics and doing amazing work. That is my job complete if they are confident and happy.
Yes, love it. I can feel the passion radiating.
Oh, I'm so pathetic, aren't I? I know.
You should be like that, though. You know, you should be like that. I just think if you don't love what you're doing, then why are you doing it? Like, I genuinely, like, get up in the morning and I'm like, I love my life. I love my job. I love the fact that I get to call this work, the fact that I get to help people, and I love it.
Yes.
You know, like, yeah, just love it. Love it. So we mentioned earlier about case studies and photos. Okay, so for me, a biggie when someone's coming to choose a coach or someone's coming to choose an aesthetics practitioner, I think, is case studies. So have they got real life evidence? And I'm not talking 1 or 2 pictures, your best mate that you've worked with or you've worked on. Like in my, for you know, my example, you probably worked with thousands, but I've worked with over 300 different people. I've got, you know, images, transformation pictures. I've got written testimonials. I've got video testimonials. So that for me is really big. And we'll summarize the top tips in a minute. But for me, if you're searching for somebody, look for those real life, you know, God, people can go on your social media page and you reams of videos, you know, and like, that's important because you mentioned something before about, you know, there are people out there who are not using real photos, are they? You know, they're sort of using just like.
I'll tell you a little story, right? Have I got time to tell you? Little story for you. Okay, so I've never name dropped anyone because I am not that kind of person. You know, I just do what I do what they do. Whether I've had people, obviously we teach basic, advanced masterclasses. So I've had a student a few weeks ago on a masterclass with me who had taught foundation elsewhere, and she says, I'm just struggling taking pictures. I'm like, right, well, come here, I'll help you out to take your angles, right? She says, and then do I put a filter on it? I'm like, why would you put a filter on your picture? She said, because the training academy I went to said just filter it to look like that. I said, well, shall we just stop you there? I'll just say never ever filter pictures, because your client is going to expect to get that result from you. And when she comes in, she'll be like, well, mine don't look like that. Why did they not? So I do think that it's a minefield, isn't it? It's like going buying, like, well, I do it a lot actually. I buy dresses from certain sites from China and it comes and it looks nothing like it. So that kind of don't filter your pictures. That is a massive top tip. Don't filter any of your pictures. This work needs to be real of who you're going to, because you're only going to be disappointed when you come away and it doesn't look like that.
Exactly.
So I don't know why I've just told you that, but what was
but I like that. I mean, that's a bit of that's a wow moment, that one, isn't it?
Yes. What did you anyway? Sorry, I digress.
No, that's absolutely fine. I love it. So what are the kind of what would you say obviously, like the I think for me, I mean, you know better, but the main reason really for, making sure that you do your due diligence with your research when you're choosing people. It's
Yeah.
safety, isn't it, really? It's safety and it's customer service.
Reviews. Look at the reviews. Look at the real reviews of
Yeah.
people. You know, like so we even sometimes say we can give you some of our students to ring up if you want, with their obviously with their acceptance from the student, just to find out about their experience. You know, that's really good, I think, you know, to get the reality of what the academy is like. We let people come in and look around the academy to know what they're going to get.
No, it's really good.
You've got to, because sometimes obviously you're going into a training academy, you don't, it looks fantastic. So Instagram, all the pictures look fantastic. They're putting ads on left, right and centre, but one, they never post continuously of their own work. So in my opinion, I will want to train with someone that I aspire to be like.
Yes.
So wouldn't go on a training course or a life coach review or anything unless I aspire to be like that person. So when I'm looking for a masterclass in aesthetics, I look at the person's work themselves, because in my, they can't do that amazing. How can they teach me to be amazing?
Exactly.
So always look at the results of their work. Like on your page, look at you yourself, what you bloody look like. You look flipping fantastic, you know. So unless, like you say, look, how can they talk the talk to you? Because
I must have that.
So if I want to be amazing, I'm going to get taught by someone amazing. That is just my little theory of it. So look at what their own work is like. What have they worked with people? How do they look themselves? You know, what is their academy like, or what is the support that they're going to give you? Like I said, you need to get real about it. It's a big industry, your industry and my industry. You can invest a lot of money into it, but it's supposed to be a life-changing career for you, or a life-changing opportunity for you. And you want real results at the end of any of it. So you need to do your research of who you're training with, what are they like, what is their work like, what's the background of information of them, how long have they been doing it, you know, do they look after you as a person, mentally and physically? It's just such a huge package to get involved in.
It is. So I think then, let's summarize the key points for people who are looking. So I'll summarize the points for people who are choosing an online fitness coach. And then maybe you can summarize the points for people who are choosing to work with a practitioner to treatment, but also what people should be looking for when the training academy. So for me, the big things that you should be looking for when you're looking for an online health and fitness coach, I would say it's basic really, but do they have a website? And I'm not saying that you have to have, you know, online presence, but come on, like you should. That is really, it would be quite worrying for me if an online health and fitness coach didn't have a website, which at least just told you what it was that they were offering and a little bit of background about themselves and some testimonials. I think that is a biggie. Number 2, testimonials, case studies. So can you see on their social media pages, on their Instagram, on their Facebook, have they got a Facebook business page? Are there real human beings there saying really, really good things about this coach? And we're not talking, again, a handful of people, because it could be their friends that have said really nice things. You know, we're looking at real customers, real people that they've worked with. I would say ask coaches about qualifications. A good professional will not get upset about you asking questions.
You want to
they do.
Tell them,
Exactly. If someone gets upset, that's a red flag for me. You know, why would you not want to be the best? Why would you not want qualifications? Why would you not want to, you know, be great at what you do? So I think ask them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, how long have you been doing what you're doing? What qualifications have you got? Can I see your certificates? You know? And it is important. The reason it's important is because, and I haven't actually mentioned this, is when it comes to, you know, health and fitness coaches, if you are a lifestyle client, so if you're not a competitive athlete and you're someone who wants to genuinely make a healthy change because you want to improve, you know, say your blood pressure, you want to reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke, you want to reduce body fat, you want to feel amazing, then, you know, you should be going with someone who you can put your trust in, because there are horror stories, you know, on my side of things, where people have lost their hair, they've lost their periods. They've been put on, quite frankly, ridiculous diets where they've been starved. You know, they're going hungry when they shouldn't be going hungry. Yeah, I mean, you know, one of my big bugbears is people being put on crash diets. And, you know, hormones have to be taken in consideration, you know, especially as a female, it's quite a delicate balance. And there's all these things that a lot of coaches who are inexperienced don't take into consideration. And it's really important, because that then sets the blueprint for potentially the rest of your life. So if you don't work with someone who takes in that longevity into account and that sustainability, puts you on a crash diet, puts you on a, you know, something that's going to cause a binge restrict cycle, creates all these issues where you want to just binge eat, or God, whatever, there's all sorts of issues. It's going to put you off working with a good coach. And unfortunately, the good coaches are almost being sort of out Instagrammed, shall we say, because there's a big industry there full of influencers and people who look the part, but there's not very much depth there, and there's not much care and attention. So for me, it's really important that you ask those questions, and don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to kind of go and talk to a few different coaches before you make that decision. You know, it's like if you were getting your house done, you were getting a builder in, you wouldn't just necessarily go with the first builder.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? So you should really take that into consideration. So for you, what's the summary of the things that someone should be looking for? Say if it's someone like me and I want to go and get treatments, how should I choose? What should I be looking for?
Obviously look at the profile of the work. Like you say, have they got a website? What are the socials looking like? On the socials, are they editing the pictures? Are they not editing the pictures? Do they actually put videos on? Do you know who you're going in to see? Is this person approachable? Are they caring? Are they insured? You should always ask if they're insured. How long have they been in the industry? What complications have they come up against, and how have they dealt with it? And then also try and find people. A lot of it does come off word of mouth when you're finding a practitioner, because they will see the work on maybe the friends or the family, and it goes on and on like that. So you'll know what the work is actually like and that they're good. Are they clean? Are they clinical? Are they health and safety? Is it all up to scratch? So it's choosing a practitioner is just making sure on how qualified they are, how well they're doing the treatments, and how hygienic they are. As a training academy perspective, there's so much more involved in training academies. So one of the main things that is actually pulling up a lot with me is where people have trained at other places now teaching them advanced, is they don't even get prescriber information on the course. They don't know how to get prescriptions for their anti-wrinkles, because again, it's prescription only medicine. So you should be given all this information. You're going to give prescriber information. You're going to get insurance information. How, like I said, how long have they been doing it? What is their actual work like? How do they deal with complications? Can I have a visit of your academy? Can I have a look round? Of course you can. Can you have an actual phone call with the person, or a video call with the person who's going to be teaching you? Of course you can. We do it all the time. I've even been helping someone with a business plan not so long ago. You know, I will go and reach out as far as I can to help that person develop as a person and develop in the industry. Look at the reviews. There's just so much that you need to make sure. How long have they been teaching? Like, I've been to, I mean, I'm not saying you have to go to university to get a teaching degree, but there's all different teaching degrees now. But I've actually been to university and done a teaching degree. So I've got my PGC plus my Assessors Award. So it's just making sure, how knowledgeable is that person that you're going to learn your forever industry in? How knowledge and how good are they at it? By checking how long have they been trained? Are they registered? Are they insured? What do they know their anatomy? Like, I know a lot of people that don't even know the difference between an occlusion and necrosis, and they are different. A lot of people, like, when you, to cut long story short, is when you inject somewhere, the main thing is that you're worried about vascular occlusion. People are just checking that one area, but they're not aware that occlusions can travel, so they're not tracking up the facial artery to know the complications that's going to happen. They just don't know what to do, which is quite sad.
That's really scary, isn't it?
So scary. They just at that one area, but it can track all up the face, and obviously one of the arteries under the eyes leads to an immediate blindness, you know. So it's just knowing your anatomy that much and what can be involved and how to avoid it.
What about in terms of accreditation bodies or anything like that? Is there anything you should be looking for?
They're accredited. There's a massive thing in aesthetics at the minute that some people are saying you have to be level 5 and level 7 qualified, or else you're going to get your qualification off you. as far as I'm aware, this is not happening. The only thing that's coming out is that an aesthetics license is coming out, and I mean, we've got one anyway, and we've got one because we're for permanent makeup, and it's all about your health and safety, and that your premises, and that you're trained, and that you're an accredited training instructor to teach people. Like, really, you need to be in the aesthetics industry for 2 years before you can even start about teaching people. The level 5 and level 7 in aesthetics is going to be regulated by a company called Ofqual. Yeah. To get Ofqual registration, you need to be a fully qualified teacher and assessor, and you need to be up there at the top of your game, which we are an accredited Ofqual centre. So we offer CPD courses and Ofqual courses, depending on how the student wants to learn. But to be an accredited Ofqual centre, you do need to be quite at the highest of standards. So it is coming out, there's going to be a licensing. But if you have the correct training academy, you will have no problem getting your licensing.
So that's really important, isn't it, for those guys out there who are listening and want to get into aesthetics? You've got to choose the right training academy, aka go to Michelle Green and her amazing team. So, unless there's anything else that you want to get out there, Michelle, I'm quite happy that we've covered the main point.
As you know, I could talk forever about this industry because I just love it so much. I just could, but I'll just waffle off on a tangent like I always do. But anyway, no.
Good. Well, I would like to tell people where they can find you. So where can they find your clinic page? Where can they find your academy page? What should they look for?
We do have a website, which is www.cosmeticaesthetics.co.uk. We've got Instagram pages for the treatment clinic and the training academy. I don't know if you could link it in the notes, maybe.
Yeah, will do.
Facebook page, or if anyone wants any information at all, they can always ring me and speak to me. You know, I love speaking to people, even if they don't decide to train wheels. Love it. I love it. I'll give you everything that you need to know.
Well, I can personally recommend you, Michelle. I will be putting that in the notes.
No, I'm joking.
Not that I like to give away my secrets, but you know, it would be wrong of me to say I hadn't actually been to you myself, because I wholly trust Michelle. I do absolutely trust you 100%, and I have absolutely no doubts at all. You know, and I would recommend you happily all day long to anybody. That's
you're so kind.
So I think then we will call it a day. I will keep you on the line, but I will press the record button and then we'll get this uploaded to YouTube. So thank you guys for listening. Watch out for the next episode, and I will be revealing soon on Instagram what that is all going to be about.
Thank you.